Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and kick off tonight's meeting. Thank you guys all for joining us tonight. We're very excited to share with you a concept for the Schussler Park Playground. So that's the phase 2 part of the Schussler Park renovation. I'm going to turn it over to Patty White in just a second. But just to talk about the project, so you are already aware of the project that is going on out there now, and that is the renovation of the field with the 2 artificial turf fields. So that project is progressing well. We expect that to be completed by the end of April next year, and then we'll be using it next time. Tonight, our focus is on the playground. So Patty is going to talk about the playground and get your input to help us redefine or fine tune that playground so that we can have a great playground for all our kids. This is an all-inclusive playground. So the intent of the playground is for children with disabilities and children without disabilities to interact together to play the playground. That's the whole goal of this. So we have some people who have worked with us. Where's our designer? So it's Patty right here.
Peg.
So, from Merck. So again, we'll introduce them in just a second. So they've worked hard to design this playground that include all those kinds of elements. So we've refined this in a couple of meetings ourselves, and we're ready to bring this to the public for your input so that we can do a final design before bringing it to the board for their approval. I want to introduce Patty White, who's going to lead the meeting in just a second, but I want to turn it over to Kendall Coyne. Kendall and Michael Schofield are helping us with this project, so they provide us with input, and they're going to be helping us with the fundraising to support this project.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. Michael's just out there. It's funny, when we were digging the hole at the complex, I was actually pregnant, and now that's the aftermath. That's a baby, so apologize for the noise. But yeah, Michael and I are extremely honored and excited to be a part of this project. We've had incredible meetings with Patty, with Ray, and with others when it has come to the design of the inclusive park. For those of you that don't know, both Michael and I grew up here. I grew up in Palos, he grew up in Orland, but we played our youth sports here in Orland: baseball, hockey. I guess Michael had a long career in the NFL. I've continued to play hockey. I'm still playing hockey, but my career started at the Arctic, formerly known as the Orland Park Ice Arena. So our careers, our love for sports, our love for being active started right here in this community. So when the opportunity came to being a part of this inclusive park and being able to ensure any kid of any ability has the opportunity to play, to be active, and to love what they do, this park is that, and that was the concept, that was the thought behind all of the conversations that we've had when it's come to the equipment and the design and the graphics and everything that we could have thought of. And obviously I know you guys will have some thoughts as well to share, but we're extremely honored. This is the community that has helped blossom our dreams, and we wouldn't be where we are at in our careers without all the support, without the parks and the opportunities just to be a kid and to play sports and go to all the schools here. We both went to Carl Sandburg High School. Michael's currently coaching the football team at Sandburg, so we've been everywhere around the world with our careers, but we've always come back home, and this is the place that means the most to us. And so we are very honored and excited and thankful to have had a helping hand and to continue to help in this project. And I will turn it over to the brains.
Ta-da! Great, thank you. My name is Patty King. I am the senior landscape architect at White & Company. We're a big architecture and engineering firm, but we've been helping the Village of Orland Park for a few years now on multiple projects. So it's exciting for us to keep working on a project and doing a second phase and a third phase. So Schussler, as most of you know right now, is totally under construction, which is awesome. So we're super excited about that. Construction is progressing as planned, so they're making a lot of good progress, which is fantastic. There's a giant hole in the ground right now, a giant hole, but that's all right because that's going to help us with stormwater management. So those are really key and important parts of that project. Today, what we want to talk about, one slide in, is Schussler Park Playground. Perfect. So first what I'm going to do is just get you oriented to where we're at on the park site itself. And then I'll introduce Peg in a second. Sorry, Peg. All right, so this is, the top corner is the southwest corner of the second field, all right? the playground is essentially going in the same location as the current playground is at right now. It's going to be tweaked a little bit, but generally it's going to be in the same location. So Golfview Road is down to the south here, and north is up on this plan. You can see just the edge of the pond over there in the corner. Does everyone get where we're at? You guys are probably more familiar with it than I am. So a couple of things that we want to do is make some physical connections to the new facilities that are getting built right now. So we're extending off this main sidewalk that runs along the south side of the football fields. And as we come into this core area, we have the small blue box at the top is going to be a garage for storage for items for the football field. We're intending on creating a half basketball court behind that. We have a large picnic pavilion that's 24 by 48, so plenty of space for picnic tables. You certainly could rent it for a family gathering. And then in our main core area is going to be our new all-inclusive playground. What's important about this and the all-inclusive piece is that this is a playground where all kids of any ability, any mobility can participate and play together. And that's pretty cool. If you happen to be a kid with disabilities and you have friends that are able-bodied and you can run up to the playground and wheel up to the playground however you need to get there together, and you don't have to separate and go on a separate section, you can do all the things together. And that's a really unique element that we're really trying to tie in for this playground. We have a main arch gateway, which will welcome everyone into Schussler Park, to the playground. And as we come along this entrance area, we're going to have what we're calling the Michael and Kendall timeline walk. So Michael and Kendall obviously are a big part of this playground design. We want to help folks understand that really they started as little kids in all the youth sports activities that are going on right now. Having a timeline for their careers, the things that they've achieved, which is pretty fantastic, actually. And frankly, I think Kendall's more of a rock star than Michael is, but that may be just my perception. But we'll walk in, so you'll get to know them a little bit and why they're so neat to be part of this project. We've got some bike racks and that around, and it'll also connect back down. So one of the things is we were working on the first phase of Schussler Park, we needed to connect this sidewalk. So currently the sidewalk comes in and you have to basically walk across the parking stalls that are there now. So the village asked us to fix that in phase 2, and we said we'd be happy to. We are going to pull out a couple of spots here at the end to allow for a sidewalk connection that'll come up and around. And we're actually going to move the entrance. It's kind of between these two trees. We're going to slide it over a little bit just so we can create a nice axial relationship to the bleachers area on the west side of the football field. So that's going to set us up for our playground area. Sweet. Next slide. All right. Peg, I'm going to introduce, and we're going to chit-chat on this together. We've gone through, just to kind of let you know how we got to where we got to today. We worked with 4 different playground manufacturers and gave them all the same criteria. We wanted it to be all inclusive. We gave them a budget to work with. They had the same size space to work with. And they all came up with concepts and options for us to look at. We've reviewed those with Ray, some staff members, with Michael and Kendall, and we narrowed it down to 2. So 2 were obviously way far ahead than the other 2. So then we asked those 2 companies, of which Burke was one. And as we met with them, we wanted to tweak it just a little bit more. There were still a few options. So we feel like at this point, we've been working with Burke. So we really liked their the play experience that they provided. There's a lot of really neat pieces to this playground that you wouldn't notice right away. Peg's going to help me talk about them to make sure that I get them all. So we have a couple of views of the playground first. So why don't we talk a little bit? Why don't I?
If I could jump in.
Yeah.
One of the things when you think about, and my youngest son is physically disabled and he uses a wheelchair. And when he was growing up,
Got to speak a little louder.
okay, my youngest son is physically disabled. And when he was growing up, he uses a power wheelchair. There were no playgrounds like this. He's 17 now. It was very challenging for him to play with his brothers, play with his peers. What you'll find in a playground like this, it's also multi-generational. So my father, who was 85, was able to come and help and play with the grandchildren. So it's not just a playground, it's not just equipment, it's so much more. It's really a gathering space. And we put together different sections of the playground. We'll walk you through it, because everyone will approach the playground or park with a different set of skills, a different set of challenges. Some kids like a lot of action, some like it more quiet, and we've been able to integrate all of those pieces together in one space. You can see up here we have ramps, so there is ramped access. And what makes this different is sometimes you'll see parks that have ramps, so a child in a wheelchair or with a mobility device can access the equipment, but there's nothing for them to do. They go up the ramps and that's all they can do. And that's a horrible experience. What we've done is make sure there are opportunities for parallel play. So as you're going up the ramp, you can have friends who are climbing alongside you. You have 2 different ways to get on and off the ramps. So as a parent, that's great to know which way your child's coming down. And then there's opportunities to get off and experience while you're still in your wheelchair, where you can get off into a rocker and sway with your friends. You can do some interactive play panels. You can go around the park. We have custom panels that have activities that will encourage all kids to work together to do laps around the park and earn points to become a playground champion. There's over here in this blue corner, that's our quiet area. So that's a shaded area with seating. There's also a cocoon if a child is overwhelmed or if they have sensory issues. It's a great place where there's activities to keep them engaged, but calm themselves away from all the activity. We've put some different sensory experiences in there as well. So there will be a turf mound, so that'll allow them to feel as they calm themselves, they can stretch out on the turf or sit in the table. There's also going to be a lending library, so people can put children's books in this library and sit and read. The color coding is important because we also will have a map that will tell parents and any visitor when they come where the high sensory areas are. So if you have a child who isn't ready for hanging out with the big kids and all the activity, you could pick a red area or you could pick a blue area, and that will tell you the different activities. So it's more of a visual cue to help people get engaged.
We'll also have there'll be a sign panel that explains all that at the playground, so anyone can come and understand that the different colors of surfacing identifies that there's different level of activities for the kids to do. So that'll help parents and caregivers direct kids as needed.
And then with some of the features, do you want to do a different view?
Sure, you want to go to the next one?
So this will give you a little bit different perspective. There is a tower, which is the kind of the tower challenge. So you can climb up inside it, but you're able to see outside. So you'll have a great view of the entire park. Parents can also see exactly where their kids are as they're climbing up. And we've customized that with sports themes. So we'll have different logos. Right now there's basketballs and footballs and golf balls and soccer balls on it. but really trying to tie in the sports theme for all kids and let them know they can dream big. That's the best part of why everyone looks up to athletes. It's because they dream big. And we're incorporating that. We have a imaginative play area with custom photo panels so kids can put their heads through and be a football player, be a hockey player. We'll have more Chicago-themed concessions so they can do imaginary play. This, in the corner of the red area, you'll see a long table, and that's a roller table. So someone is able to transfer out of a wheelchair or slide through. So it gives a lot of that deep sensory pressure. And you can also pull yourself through it. And then we have a long jump alongside of it. So again, encouraging parallel play. So every action, we want to make sure there's something for kids and their peers to do together.
Where's the water compared to, is the water still gonna be there? The pond, huge pond, is it still there?
Yes, it is.
And is it where the kids can not, like, get too close to it, or?
The new playground is going to go where the old playground was, so it's in the same location. Yep. Could you go back to the very first slide? So here's Golfview Road at the bottom. North is up. You can actually see this is where the existing, I don't know if you can see that, but the existing picnic shelter is here, right? This is, the picnic tables were there. This is the edge of the lake, the pond right here. So it's quite a ways away. Baseball's on the other, basically in the corner over there. We have a couple different slides for, we have play events and we have inclusive events. So one of the things we also just were having conversations about is if everything's totally all-inclusive, sometimes the able-bodied kids don't find the playground to have enough risk, right? So we needed a little more excitement. It was one of the reasons why we are suggesting that we do include that tower piece in the center. It gives them height, it gives the kids a chance to get up and have a view that they don't normally get. But you'll see between this slide and the next slide, there's a lot to do together in all of them. So lots of sensory, different colors. We made a conscious choice to go with the sports theme. What else? Let's talk about the Bolito, which is
The
movement, sorry.
So the movement in the bottom right-hand corner is an interactive game. It's kid powered, so there's no electricity, but kids will crank the game for, and it's about 60 seconds. And the pods light up, so you can play by yourself, you can play with a friend, you can play different games, and it's designed to get active, compete, and start to really focus on the eye-hand coordination. It will keep score for each game, and that's another opportunity to have kids earn points to become one of the playground champions. And it's using the same technology when you go to cross the light and you hit the button to change the light. That's what the pods are like. And then in the upper right corner is a merry-go-round. It's designed to be flush with the surfacing, so you can, there's a bench, so someone can sit on it, but you also have room to put a wheelchair on it. So you can sit, you can stand, you can put a wheelchair on that.
And spin.
And spin.
Which is a sensation that, a lot of folks don't always get. They don't always have that opportunity. I'm a little too old for the spinning, I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's move on to some of our custom panels.
So these are some of the things we're talking about including as part of our timeline walk. As we come up, we have some custom panels that can be double-sided as well, pulling from, you know, all our Carl Sandler colors, our Olympic colors, so we're kind of trying to tie all of it together. But these are just some fun graphics that we'll include next. Some information on the Schofield Family Foundation, since they're helping pay for it. I think it's important that we let folks know all the things they're trying to accomplish and how this park helps them do those things. Some fun career accomplishments for both Michael and Kendall. See what I said? Total rock star here. Sorry, Michael. So we're gonna have a little bit of information about our key players here, so that's fun as well. Next. These are some of our, so this was the sensory stimulation map that we were talking about before. So our high stimulation is in red, so that's obviously our big play structure in the center. Our roller table and our long jump area as well. Our medium stimulation, a little less active, so our swings, our Bolito swings, our merry-go-round up top, and the movement in the bottom. And then our low stimulation, or our quiet zones, is where our lending library is going to be. We'll have some tables and chairs. The grass mound will be there. So it's a spot for kids to, sometimes they need to get away from all the activity. It's just a place where they can stop and be quiet. So, right? It's also a great spot for parents to hang out. Not gonna lie. So we do anticipate having additional donors as a part of this project. We are going to jump into a fundraising mode soon. So our Schussler Park Playground Champions is a board where we'll customize with folks that are going to help us donate and help us build our playground. And then the All-Stars Activity Board, you can get points. The kids can challenge themselves to different activities. They can compete against each other and see who can make the most points every time they go out and play. So there'll always be something fun to do.
What's the jump wall?
So the jump wall is on the side of the tower, and it's
Yeah.
designed to be, so kids can run and climb up the wall. It's
Go back, down. Sorry.
right there. The black? Yeah. Can you see?
I do have a picture of the panel.
Do you see? It's right adjacent to the sports panel. There. And then.
Yeah, it's right in the middle here.
Yeah. It's right.
I need a stick.
It's designed to run up it.
Yeah,
Get as high as you can. So, yeah.
Like a little ninja, of course. Okay. Next. And I'm just going to get into some of the panels, so keep going. Thank you. More going. All right.
Oh, that's cute.
So these are some of our fun photo ops. Panels will be double-sided. Obviously, this is Kendall. This is Michael. This is Michael. How can we jump higher than Michael? Probably not. Michael probably can jump pretty high. But they'll be cutouts. They'll be double-sided.
We also integrated some Paralympic sports
As well.
too.
It's cute.
Good for little kids as well. Next. And then I think this is one of our last slides, but some of the custom panels, we talked about maybe doing a Chicago professional sports team panel. But we've got a lot of copyright stuff to get through, and we're gonna get that. So there's a few extra hurdles to, but that's all right. But in the meantime, we certainly have all of our professional sports identified. We do have a lemonade stand or concession stand with little kids for imaginary play. Clearly, we're gonna sell hot dogs and Chicago style pizza as a part of that. And are welcome to the Schussler Park Playground. We'll be at the entrance area. And of course, one of the towers will be
The flag.
the flag. Thank you for Carl Sandburg High School. I think that's it. Oh, no, not it. Sorry. That's all right.
And there's more. So these panels are designed to give kids an opportunity to share what they dream about. And it can be used to help kids if they want to fundraise for the park and have a lemonade stand or do a birthday party and help raise money for the playground. They can contribute what they dream about, whether it's dreaming of flying, whether it's dreaming of, being brave. And then this is something that they will be able to come back and look at, 15 years down the road and remember what it was like when they were 4 or 5 years old.
So these panels will be customized with local kids' dreams. So,
Nice.
is that it? Woohoo! All right. Questions? You guys have any questions? Yes,
What are you using for impact remediation in your?
for the safety surfacing?
Yes.
So, we have not quite decided, but we think we're gonna use a poured-in-place rubber surfacing, or else it's going to be synthetic turf, both of which are designed for playground impact attenuation.
Okay. And you said that the merry-go-round is flush with the surface.
That's correct.
Is that going to have built-in lockdowns for wheelchairs?
It does not, and we've been talking with engineering about the best way to do that. I take my son in his power chair and his manual chair and we lock it, and it doesn't go fast enough where there would be danger of him, other user.
Okay, so you do have some type of a speed limiter?
Yes.
Yes. It's not like the merry-go-rounds that we grew up on, right? I know, I'm here to tell you, I was really sad when those went away, right? We can't even put them in, they don't make them anymore. So, all of the merry-go-rounds have speed restrictors on them, so it's a gentle merry-go-round.
Actually spins with you.
Yes. Amen.
Can you tell us about the size of the actual playground itself, not the surrounding walkways or anything, but the
Sure.
actual size, dimensions, not square footage, but
Yes.
just an idea.
So the question is, can we talk about the size of the playground? Yes, the playground itself currently, could you throw the plan back up? Thanks, me, John. Woo! Playground is currently, the safety surfacing is 70 by 70 feet.
Thank you.
How big was the other one?
It was a little bigger than that, but there was a lot of stuff spread out. So it wasn't super efficient with space, but it did meet all the safety requirements.
So the tennis court's still there behind it? or-
No, tennis courts are gone.
It's gonna be, Are there gonna be tennis courts around?
Not at this time.
Okay, and what's behind the houses, that, where the big hill used to be, now I see all kinds of big things.
Equipment, so
No, I mean, they're digging such a big hole.
oh, yes, so
Is there
that's,
gonna be a building in there, or is it gonna be?
that's actually gonna be underneath the synthetic turf fields. So that hole is going to hold all of our stormwater when it rains. So there's-
It's better than being in my basement.
There, yes, exactly, so, there's a couple hundred concrete vaults that are getting put in there, and they'll actually be going in the next couple weeks, so,
Okay, so there's no tall buildings,
oh, no.
it's like a football field or soccer field? or
Yep.
something like that.
They'll be striped for both football and soccer.
Still parking, still parking again?
Yes, still parking will be
Where
available,
it is on the south side?
that's correct.
And then how about there's a parking lot to the left of that area currently?
Yes.
That will still be there?
That's gonna stay,
Are they gonna fix that parking lot then?
I do believe that they are going to fix it, within the next couple years. They are planning on refurbishing everything. Forgive me if I, okay, Ray will correct me if I say something that's not accurate. The sledding hill is going to the complete opposite end of the park. So the sledding hill was in the northeast corner.
Right.
But we're gonna have a parking lot that's not on street. So we're gonna build a parking lot there. So the sledding hill is gonna go all the way over in the northwest corner. Where the old baseball field is.
Which one?
The little one.
Or the bigger one?
The small one.
The little one?
Yeah, so that one is gonna go. The little softball field's gonna go.
So when we were at the one meeting where they were discussing everything that they were going to do, they said that the sledding hill was going to be the first thing moved. How come they haven't moved it yet?
It's gone.
It's well, apparently, but
My kid used to call it Buck
Well, hopefully, we can come up with a better name than that for the new
well,
one.
that was because when we went off the backside, everyone went off that backside. It became Buck Crash.
Means and methods is up to the contractor. We did have to move the sled hill first in order to build the parking lot. There's a lot of moving pieces that's going on at the moment. We're dredging the pond, so there's big sediment bags that are actually sitting over in the northwest corner they basically vacuum it up. It's kind of cool. I've never seen that before. It's awesome. So they get in the pond with scuba gear and they have a big vacuum and they suck up all the silt.
Yeah, it's been running all night.
Yeah, and it pumps into the bags and then all the water drains out and then they can haul that away.
Is the pond staying the same size?
Yes, it is. We're modifying the north end of the football fields a little bit because the fields do enter into the pond.
So they're gonna be any kind of like a little pier, but it is, I know like a lot of kids go fishing there.
We will have fishing areas, but not on the north side of the football fields. There will be none. Because there'll be fencing and there'll be netting to keep balls from going into the ponds, both ends.
Is there gonna be some kind of a barrier between the playground and the pond?
Not necessarily, but we could do some, split rail fence, 3-rail fence, but we're not gonna contain or fence in the playground.
Okay. And what about the houses on that side of the playground?
Football.
Because you have all the,
Or
you
soccer
see this
field.
retaining wall, what in the fence, what is all that? And then the houses start.
Right.
Because right now, there's not that much space, it doesn't seem to be, between the playground and the first house on Gulfview.
Here.
Am I right?
It's actually about the same, surprisingly.
Yeah, because it looks
Because
different.
it literally is gonna be right underneath where the existing playground is.
And where would the bleachers be, where people would sit?
Up at the 50-yard line on the west side of the first field.
You hear that? The bleachers are gonna be for the football.
No, you gotta be farther out.
50-yard line, midfield.
Midfield?
Oh, on
Up that
the
sidewalk.
field.
The sidewalk right here.
Yes.
Up there,
That
we'll get to the
sidewalk goes
bleachers.
all the way from Gulfview to the parking lot is all the way down to the fields.
Yes.
You showed a picture before, and you showed all these trees and a lot of green behind there. Is that gonna be there, or there's something else like this? What's proposed for this, or you don't know? Because it looks really open.
It looks really lush. Thanks, thanks for setting the expectation really high. We are gonna add some new shade trees on the south side of the playground. Peg made some of the stuff herself. See the mountains in the back? You see it? This is not the background of Orland Park. That's okay.
I wonder how much green is gonna be.
There
behind
are opportunities, I work with an organization called Open Lands Tree Keepers, and so we go out to communities to plant more trees.
I see.
But in front where the golf field is, there's gonna be, all those are trees?
No,
right there?
So these 4 trees are existing. Big honey locusts are gonna stay,
Okay.
right? So that's part of the reason why this walk comes up. Because I didn't wanna cut these down, because they're big,
Yeah,
They're really
really nice tree.
right? We're gonna add some new trees along the south side of the walk and up both sides on either side. So we are gonna put some more trees in. Of course, you put in a little tree, it takes a while to grow, but eventually.
Yeah, it's on Baltimore side.
Right,
Where
it's just a few there.
That's the fact it's already there.
It's like right more.
Yeah, but they're gonna be more.
No, and in fact, I've taken 2, maybe 3 out to accommodate the sidewalk connection. So. Question in the back.
One of the meetings I went to, they talked about the possibility of putting a walking pass through.
Yes.
And they were looking at, do you know if there's been any activity on that or?
Part of the question was, are we gonna add any more walking paths? So we're starting that process. You can see in the second phase, we're starting to continue that, sort of a dead end here.
Right.
In future phases, we will connect the pathways all around the park. We just have to do it a little at a time.
Okay. But it's in the plan.
It is.
How about the lighting?
What kind of lighting?
No, I mean, for like, on the football field.
So the football, both football fields will have, new Musco LED sports lighting. And that'll be going in.
Because right now, it's
Is that behind your house?
not there now. They were right behind the old houses,
Yes.
so it was all shining. It don't shine that far, but it's pretty bright. That's why we were wondering which way they're gonna move the lighting farther to the north.
So it's gonna go along the east and west sides, and then there'll be a couple poles in the center.
Are you gonna light up the playground as well?
We might have some lighting in the shelter,
Okay.
but not, and yeah, well, that's
But not in playground itself.
not necessarily on
So
the,
you're gonna discourage that for nighttime use?
yeah, parks close at dusk, right?
Yeah.
We don't wanna change that, so,
Doesn't deter now.
I know, but,
Teenagers of that age.
So how come the lights around the pond aren't on anymore?
probably, because the electrical service has been temporarily disconnected while they do the work. That's on site.
Because it's like all the kids that come there, it's unbelievable.
Okay. Call the police.
Yeah,
Keep doing it. Right?
not stopping.
They do over there.
I know, but you guys have to help police the park too, right? So that's important.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
This might be
question?
more for Ray, but is phase 2 guaranteed? Because rip the playground out, there's talk of asking for fundraising. I've been in Orland 30 years, I don't remember ever fundraising for a playground. So what if you don't get the fundraising as a village,
There are some funds allocated to the playground, and then the basketball court, the pavilion, those are also part of operational funds.
so the phase 2 is 100% happening, like the timeline?
It will happen, it's a question of what the timeline is, so it depends on the funding.
And then my one thought is the playground is smaller. I've been in that neighborhood 12 years. The park hasn't been used much in 12 years, because we couldn't. You have a lot more people, and it's less. And on a good sunny day in the summer, with the kids in the neighborhood, it's already crowded. So there's something.
There's gonna be a lot more to do in this particular playground.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So, you have to do your capacity study, have you? Sorry for Jen's spot.
And I know too, like the traffic study was done like I remember that the traffic study was done in January, so it kind of, to me, defeated the purpose, because people weren't using parking. But also, the study said, oh, it's already used in soccer and this and that a lot, and to me, it has.
I have one more question, and I don't know if anybody's from the village is here.
The other parking lot should be.
Yes, there are people from the village here, yes.
My thing is, I live on the corner of Fairway and Poplar. And I've been in that house for 51 years. There's so many people that walk past our houses, which have beautiful little children with them, riding their bikes. And my husband years ago tried to get a 4-way stop on that corner. And those people come flying down the fairway, they're going 3 down fast, and they're coming like 2 hills to that area. I'm afraid there's gonna be a lot more kids and a lot more adults walking and going to that park And that corner seems to be, and years ago when my husband wanted to get forward, they said there's never been an accident. Thank you, God, there's never been an accident. Okay, let's not have one with small children, and now more children are gonna come. And it used to be where years ago that 151st didn't come through and around Poplar and around and through. Now that's a through street more or less. And so many cars, pit stop, nobody stops coming down Fairway, of course, because there's not a four-way stop. So I'm worried about the kids.
This is an attraction.
It's an attraction and there's gonna be a lot more kids and they're gonna be excited and not paying attention. It's a half a block away, boom, they're crossing the Fairway Street. So I'm worrying, that's the only thing I'm worried about, is that corner, not because of my house, but because of the children going.
Okay, that's a valid concern.
So I would like to see maybe there would be a four-way stop there. Because down the street, there's a four-way stop, and there's not even a through street there.
It makes no
I don't even
sense.
know what the name
Ray will bring that up.
That's all.
Oh, 147?
Question in the back, please.
Yeah.
Am I understanding that there's $10 million to spend on the football stadium, but the funding for this playground is in question?
Ray, take that.
Phase one is fully funded, phase two is not 100% funded, and that depends on part of this fundraising campaign.
So
that's
so what I'm saying is correct.
Foundation,
We've got the 10 million for the football field, but we don't have all the money for the playground yet.
we have a partial part of it, so we're hoping that.
We don't have all the money for the playground, we have the fundraise.
We don't have 100%. We're pretty confident that we're going to raise that money.
Okay, so now, how long does it take to get that front for that playground?
First, we're gonna launch the fundraising campaign, so when we hit a certain mark on that campaign, then we can start moving forward on building the playground.
Okay, so we're going to do something about the traffic situation.
We'll raise that, we'll bring that to some, proper people.
When your next meeting, when is your next village meeting?
This would go to a different commission, so that,
Oh, it goes to a whole different commission?
Yeah.
Who do you talk to?
I will talk to the different personnel.
Will you?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm making those.
Thank you.
Because I was wearing much of those kids, and the little ones are the choice of the lights.
Right.
They're going way ahead.
I know, they're, yeah, they always are racing ahead, that's what they do.
Wait, the corner, wait, the corner.
Any other questions about the playground?
Down by the playground, is there gonna be, restrooms or something?
There is a restroom building in a future phase by
Okay,
the
well,
football field. And it's just gonna go north of our garage store. It'll be just south of the bleacher pad. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Who maintains it, and it's a place
the
where,
village will maintain it.
Russia's pretty good at that.
Yeah.
you know, I grew up in the city, I know what these little field houses are like.
We work
Sometimes
so,
they can't do much in the porta potties.
You're not gonna.
Right, you know what, maybe it's okay as long as nobody's in it, but.
all right, we've heard your comments on that, we understand. We will have, at some point, there'll be permanent restrooms, we're planning for that. It will probably be a few years before those are installed.
I wonder if I could interrupt the question and answer and ask if those who were in attendance could provide some input on the playground itself, your overall impression of the
I think
playground.
it's very wonderful, it does. And I think that the little ones around us are gonna love this, absolutely. My grandkids were there a lot, and they loved it, as it was. This, they would, but I can see this appealing to those 10 and under, true. You know, and the teenagers at night, you can't keep them up. So.
Well, they need a place to go too.
Sure they do, I wish there was more, that's something else.
Everyone was a teenager at one point, right? We all survived. It's all good. Any other questions or comments about the playground tonight?
It's very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you very much.
Very nice, very thought out, very considerate about for the kids, the little ones that have a hard time.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time today.